fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to From A to Arbitration. Had a busy week, right? Had a busy week. We'll talk a little bit about that later on. First off, we're going to show Miss Mallory some love, and I'm going to put this out there every single week because I cannot do what I do without her. And from arbitration.com, if you have ever gotten on there, ever downloaded anything, ever listened to anything, ever looked at anything, it's 100% because of Mallory. She helps with Reddit, Discord, and she spends much more time dealing with From A to Arbitration than I do. I come on here every Sunday. She's constantly on from arbitration.com. Not for her, because she doesn't make a penny until now. And so what's happened is there's some people on Discord have gotten together, and if you go on from arbitration.com, you will see a Tell Mallory Thank You. And it's just basically a Mallory tip jar, and that's what it is. And so I want y'all to get on there, show some love. I'm going to put this out there every single week. It'll be the first thing I say every single week. I don't care if I got an important announcement to make. The first thing I'm going to say is get on there from arbitration.com, tell Mallory thank you. I don't care whether it's $10 or $10,000. Tell her thank you, okay? We owe her that. I owe her that. Because like I said, everything that happens with from arbitration.com is because of her. And she is tireless. She's always on there, always updating, always putting stuff on there. So do me a favor. I will never ask for money. I don't need your money. But you have somebody that's very special to the city letter carrier craft, spends an enormous amount of her own time off the clock putting stuff up there for y'all, and so that y'all can get on there. It's not for me because I don't get on there. It's for y'all. It's for the city letter carrier. So get on from arbitration.com, tell Mallory thank you, click that, and it's got a little GoFundMe thing. You can give her, like I said, just a little tip jar, right? I'm going to put it out there every single week. Every single week. And we're going to see if we can get Mallory to retire here in just a few years so she can spend full time from arbitration.com. That's how much money I hope she raises, right? She's invaluable to me, and I love the girl. She's absolutely fantastic, all right? So tell Mallory thank you. There you have it. I'm going to do some shout outs. We've got some rallies. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. A lot of stuff coming up, so I'm going to do these shout outs real quick. Got a few. Now look, here's something that happened. I got a new phone Wednesday. The other phone was old as hell, so I finally got a new phone. And when I get on there, you have to update everything. So I get on, I'm push Facebook, and it says you got to log in. When I did, it sounded like a slot machine in Vegas. It's going bing, 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 bing. I'm like, what in the fuck is that? It's my Facebook Messenger, and I'm getting hundreds of messages that I didn't know I had. And so if you've messaged me on, matter of fact, I think it may have been Thursday night or Friday night, I was up to like 1 a.m. answering messages. And so people are like, do you ever sleep? It's because I had so many messages come in. And so Mallory fixed my email. So I'm down to about 300 emails. I will get to them. Unfortunately, I'm having to message some people that sent discipline saying, hey, I hope this worked out for you. And so, because I didn't get any. And I tell you, I'm completely illiterate when it comes to anything technological. I just am. And I hate that I am, but I just am. I mean, there's no getting away around it. I'm illiterate. And so, all these messages started coming in on Facebook Messenger. And I'm like, holy shit. I mean, on my From A to Arbitration page, on my page. And so I will get to them. I promise you. I'm not neglecting you. If you reach out, I will respond. Most of the time, I just give you my phone number and say, hey, call me. And so anyway, I've gotten some shout outs. Hopefully the people that are on these shout outs are still with the post office. So I'm going to do the rap sessions and the shout outs all at the same time. Okay. Cause I've got a few. And so here's one. We have the Region 12 rap session on March 9th here in Atlantic City. We're doing a Hell No rally a couple miles down the street at the Pleasantville Post Office. Region 12 people can stop and join us on their way to register for the rap session. It's from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Hoping to encourage plenty of Region 12 to join, and that's from Miss Stephanie. So again, we have the Region 12 rap session on March 9th here in Atlantic City. We're doing a Hell No rally a couple of miles down the street at the Pleasantville Post Office. Region 12 people can stop and join us on their way to register for the rap session. So there you go. It says, okay, we're having an anti-privatization rally in Fort Wayne, Indiana on Sunday, March 16th at 10 a.m. It will be downtown Fort Wayne at the Allen County Courthouse. This is organized by the rank and file across multiple stations, but I definitely want to shout out Ken McNeil. He is a CCA, and he really got the ball rolling on the rally process. I also just want to get the word out for anyone in the greater Fort Wayne area. This isn't an NALC specific event, so we welcome anyone to come and support our rally. Thanks. So here's why I love that. I'm going to read it again. Okay, we're having an anti-privatization rally in Fort Wayne, Indiana on Sunday, March 16th at 10 a.m. It will be downtown Fort Wayne at the Allen County Courthouse. This is organized by the rank and file across multiple stations, but I definitely want to shout out to Ken McNeil. He is a CCA, and he really got the ball rolling on the rally process. So here you have a CCA getting a rally together, and that's the future of our union, right? I love the CCA Corner that comes out. They do a fantastic job with CCA Corner. We've got to start paying attention to our CCAs. They're going to win this election for the CLC. That's no doubt. But we've got to take care of our CCAs. This administration we have in there now has abandoned them, has forgotten them. We will not. Okay? I said it long ago. Take care of your CCAs in your office, right? Take care of your CCAs. Make sure that they're taken care of. Now, Renfro don't give a shit about CCAs. He told y'all that when he slapped y'all in the face about 60 cents an hour raise. That's how pathetic that dumb fuck is. So, and I'm going to get in his ass in just a bit, okay? Him and Barner. Because I've been stewing on some shit. I told myself today when I was driving home, it's like we're not going to cuss tonight. And I kept telling myself that, you're not going to cuss tonight. Just do a simple episode, We're going to do some shout outs. I got a little bit of training I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about this Dogs of War these teams are putting together. That's something that's fantastic. Just don't cuss. Just don't do it. But, I can't help it. I can't help it. We got the two dumbest fucks up on top of this union I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to read some shit to you in just a second. It's going to piss you off. I piss myself off every week dealing with these two dumb fuckers at the top. So I'm going to talk about these two dumb shits in just a second. But anyway, here you have a CCA starting a rally. That tells you where we're at as our union. You got Tyler Vassar starting Build a Fighting NALC. I've said it every time I talk to him. Every time I talk about that movement, it's an embarrassment to me that we have a organization starting up called Build a Fighting NALC. You know why? Because we don't have a fighting NALC. You got ass kissers and dumb shits up there that don't know their fucking ass from a hole in the ground. So we have people out here that are young whippersnappers having to start up movements called Build a Fighting NALC. We've got CCA starting rallies. Hell, we could learn from them. That's how far we've fallen with this dumb, stupid-ass motherfucker we got at the top. See, I told myself I want to do this. So, all right. Anyway, there's a rally, okay? Here's another one. Dear Corey, I'd like to shout out to our shop steward and my friend Tom Perry from Branch 887 in Provo, Utah. I've been with the USPS for 38 years, and he's the best steward we've ever had. That's awesome. He's a real badass that sticks it to management every chance he gets, and he doesn't get enough credit. I'd laid down my life for this dude, and am proud to call him my friend, as is everyone in our station. However, he has one glaring flaw, and this is a flaw, and it's okay. I mean, these things can be corrected, okay? But he has one glaring flaw. He has never seen any of the Hobbit or Lord of the Rings movies that you talked about earlier. Please tell him what he's missing and why he's wrong, as he respects you immensely. And he is wrong. He is wrong. That's a shortcoming to a lot of people, like Cole Billups, who hasn't watched any of them. Matter of fact, I think he said that he started to watch one and got disinterested. I have problems with that. Because those are masterpieces. Those are classics, okay? And if you can't get into that, I don't see how you can be a true union leader without watching Lord of the Rings, okay? But here's a true union leader, all right? Tom Perry from Branch 887 in Provo, Utah. You sound like a real badass, my friend. And yeah, we need many, many, many more just like you. And they're growing out there. They're growing in numbers, right? And they're going to be taking over positions come soon. We're going to be running for president, get a lot of this old guard out of there. We're going to get a lot of the old guard out of here in this next election. We appreciate your time, especially those at National, but you have lost your way. You have lost your way with this union, and you've become fat pieces of shit up there, okay? Most of you. Now, some, you got Nicole Ryan. I'd take her in a second. She's always been an all-star and always will be. I have nothing but mad respect for that lady. And there are a few others up there. But I wouldn't give you a nickel for most of those sumbitches because they've gotten in with Renfro, this cowardly-ass son of a bitch attitude he's got. And, business agents are the same fucking way. They've gotten in this cowardly bitch-ass attitude that Renfro has, and that's how they are. I'll talk about them in just a second, too. So there's your shout-out, my friend. Tom Perry, I appreciate you deeply for how you care about your people. That's awesome. Since you're doing a podcast pretty soon about load truck information, I wanted to shout out my craft trainer, Kelly Briscoe from Lexington, Kentucky. The guy is an amazing teacher, and he taught me how to love the city letter carrier craft. I'll never forget his advice and his ability to make training fun and not boring. I'm going to read that again. I like that. Since you're doing a podcast pretty soon about load truck information, I wanted to shout out my craft trainer, Kelly Briscoe from Lexington, Kentucky. The guy is an amazing teacher, and he taught me how to love the city letter carrier craft, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, loving the city letter carrier. That's numero uno. If you do that, you will succeed. Everything you do will be a success if you love the city letter carrier. Why? Because if you love me, you will do everything in your power to protect me, to help me, to educate me, to train me. If you love the city letter carrier. The leaders at the top now have no love. Renfro couldn't tell you he loved you to save his fucking life. You know why? Because he loves himself. Barner couldn't tell you he fucking loves you. Why? Because he loves Renfro. That's and Lloyd. They don't love the city letter carrier, and it shows. The shit that they do to our detriment proves that they don't love us. They don't have a fucking clue how to love the city letter carrier. I'll talk about that shit in just a second, too. Hey, Corey, can you give a shout out to Jameson Morris at the Yellow Springs, Ohio Post Office? He's an awesome carrier who takes pride in their job. Absolutely. Jameson Morris out of Yellow Springs, Ohio Post Office. There's somebody sending you some love, and I appreciate your dedication to our craft, brother. Things are going to get turned around, okay? Things are going to get turned. It's coming. It's coming. A lot of people say they get tired of hearing it. There's nothing we can do about it until 2026. Nothing. All I can do is tell you it's coming. Tell you what's coming. But until 2026, all it is a promise, right? Yeah, we still got a year and a half of incompetence until we can get in there and turn this shit around, okay? And so there's you some shout outs. There's you some rallies. Keep sending those in. There's probably a lot that came in on my messenger. I'll get to them, I promise you. I promise you, okay? Now, the big thing. Last week I announced that when you can get on from arbitration.com, you can send an email to this Dogs of War. Now, these are the teams that are going to go out and change the environment on the workroom floor. It's something that has never been done before in the history of the NALC. James Henry came to me we were talking about when I became director of city delivery, and he had issues with several things on the workroom floor, right? Toxic working environment, the way that our carriers are treated on the daily, these cease and desist issues with non-compliance, and he told me to handle it. He told me to handle it, and that's exactly what I'm going to fucking do. I'm handling this, okay? I told you that the toxic working environment, that was my baby. That's my thing. Here's what we're going to do. These teams are going to be the most educated teams that's ever been put out into the field. That is a promise. The things that they're going to do will never have been done before. I'm telling you that these teams are going to go into the field and are going to change the environment on the workroom floor. They're going to address the environment on the workroom floor. Give me 1 year. Give me 1 year. And I assure you, the culture, the environment will be changed. I promise you that. Why a year? When these teams get educated, that's going to start on day one. These teams are going to get educated. I'm going to go over that in just a second. We're going to have the vital few, okay? And we're going to go in there and we're going to start addressing the vital few. It's going to take 5 or 6 months if something goes to arbitration, okay? Because you're going to have your grievances. It's going to work its way up through the process. It's going to get scheduled for arbitration. You got arbitration. You got 30 days until a decision. So you're looking at 5 or 6 months already. Then we're going to have those decisions, and we're going to take those elsewhere. And we're going to keep addressing it nationwide, everywhere. I'm talking about everywhere. I've went out, and I have found number one guy to address these things. When you talk about stone cold killers, this is the one. I had one in mind, and one only. And he took it immediately and said he'd run with it. He's going to do the training. He's going to do the facilitating. He's going to do the logistics of it. He's going to be the one working with the business agents, with the branch presidents. He's the one that's going to be contacting district managers to tell them what's going on. Not that it matters, but I want their names in case files, right? This individual is going to handle every single bit. Now, last week I put it out there that the email was up. Dogs of War. If you get on from 8arbitration.com and scroll down to the bottom, you will see Contact Us. When you click on Contact Us, Dogs of War email will come up. Here's the thing. I had so many people respond last week. I'm going to put it out this week, and I'm not going to put it out again. There were so many that responded last week. And look, give me your experience. What have you been through? What have you done? Give me that. Do not email me because you have no experience. We're going to train you like you've never been trained before. Do not email me because you have no experience. Okay? But get on from 8arbitration.com. Scroll down to the very bottom. It says Contact Us, and you'll see that email there. Email me. I will respond. I'm not going to respond much. I'll tell you I got it. Take into consideration whatever. I will respond to you. Just to let you know that I got your email, okay? I want you to get on there. Now, this is a huge commitment. It is a huge commitment. Like I said, this has never been done before. What's fixing to happen? We are addressing the toxic working environment on the workroom floor. That is what these teams are for. That is what these teams are about. You're going to be educated when you come up, right? We're going to talk about every single facet from the very beginning to the very end. How we're going to build case files to arbitration. How that's going to be handled. What are you going to do when you go and you request a manager's EOPF file? Right? Why do we want it? Why do we want the EOPF file? Well, I want to see if you've been disciplined before by management. If you have a history, has management taken it upon themselves to discipline you? We're going to request those. What happens if you request those and you get a relevancy letter, which you will get? Have you thought about those things? You're going to get a relevancy letter. What are you going to do there? If you go on to episode 74, I address relevancy letters. Where we got those is past joint statement cases. When we've turned in information requests and management 100% of the time will send me a relevancy letter. Well, we've already got that handled for you. Get on 74 and read that, okay? Get that down pat. You want to talk about the joint statement on violence behavior in the workplace? The history of it. What do we need? What are things that are going to go in the case file? Episodes 36 through 39. Get in those and start listening to those. Download the information off of there, the case files, all of the documentation. Study it. Study it. You're going to be the most important persons in the country coming up when we take over. You will be the most important individuals in this country. Why? Because you are tasked with saving the city letter carrier on the workroom floor. The stress level, the toxicity that's created by management, the things that management comes out with, metrics, 1 hour office time, that creates a hostile working environment for us. These managers who bully and berate and belittle. Y'all's jobs are to handle them. We cannot have cowardice on these teams. We cannot have cowardice. I want stone cold fucking killers. What are you going to do if management argues res judicata? Do you even know what that means? It's a matter already settled. When they say that all these past B-team decisions or pre-arbitration settlements or formal Step A settlements can't be used any longer because it's res judicata, it's a matter already settled. Remember, management is not protected under Article 1610. Only the city letter carrier. That's our joint contract administration manual, right? So they're not protected under 1610. When the joint statement says those whose unacceptable behavior continues, that's where that comes into play. We're going to show a history, a pattern of unacceptable behavior. What about surveys? We're going to go over surveys with you. What to take with you. The packets that you will have when you go into these workroom floors. The language that you're going to need. We're going to go over the joint statement, the history of that. You're going to read it. And we're going to go where it came from. And you're going to tell arbitrators where it came from. How will the informal meeting go? What are you going to do there? Right? What are you going to produce at the informal Step A meeting? What about the remedy that you're going to produce? Are you going to be concerned with how management feels? I've had them break down on me before. Matter of fact, the very first one I did with a team was Hattiesburg. I was the informal Step A. I went in and was meeting with this young lady who was the supervisor, and I'm reading her the entire remedy. And in that remedy, I was calling for her job. I said, ma'am, I said, here's this remedy. I said, we're going to ask that you be removed from supervising city letter carriers in any capacity. And that will last forever, as long as you're here. And she starts telling me, I'm sorry, I'm just, I'm doing what I was told. And I said, well, ma'am, I said, that sounds like a good contention for you to put in your case file. And I kept going. I have no remorse, no feelings, nothing. Why? Because these people have chosen to make a toxic working environment for my brothers and sisters. And we are going to deal with it. James Henry has tasked me with this. He's told me I've got carte blanche to do what I need to do. And that's exactly what's going to fucking happen. I will be his hammer. I will be his fucking hammer. And y'all are going to go and wreck shit on behalf of the NELC. That's just how it fucking is. Y'all are going to go wreck shit on behalf of the NELC. How's the Formal A meeting going to go? What are we going to produce at the Formal A meeting? That's when you're going to make a full detailed statement of facts relied upon, right? That's where we're going to call witnesses if we need to. And that's where the surveys are going to come in. We're going to go over the entire case file. And you're going to learn about that meeting. And we're going to have those meetings in training. What are you going to do when you're waiting on information? When we first get there, you're going to have past history already when you get there. You're probably going to get there on a Sunday. You're going to go in on a Monday. So Sunday, when you're there, you're probably going to go out to dinner with your team. You're going to meet, and you're going to start talking about the progress, the process, right? You're going to start talking about the process. You've got your information requests. You probably will have already sent those in by email. Who you are, you're going to send in your certification. And those certifications, we're going to talk about those, what you're going to need in that file. We do not want to lose a case because we were not properly certified. So you'll be trained on that. So those emails will be sent out before you get there. And so what are you going to do until you get the information? Are we just going to sit there until Wednesday waiting on the information? No, we're going to do surveys. And we're going to start putting contentions together. We're going to get our language together. We're going to look at what we're going to request. The things we're going to request, because everyone's going to be different, right? Everyone's going to be different. You're going to make history. These teams are going to make history. It's something that's never been done before. We're not going to do joint memos any longer. Those don't work. Management doesn't give a shit about the toxic working environment on the workroom floor. We're going to arbitration, right? Y'all are going to take y'all's cases to arbitration. We're going to educate you on the arbitration. What's going to be done? The arbitrator's authority. That's going to be in the case file. You're going to spend great lengths of time telling the arbitrator his authority, her authority. Under the arbitrator Snow's decision, incorporated into the JChem through Article 15 and Article 19 via the Joint Statement on Violence and Behavior in the Workplace, right? So that's what's going to happen. That's where we're at with the dogs of war. Y'all are going to make history. Y'all are going to change the course of the city letter carrier craft on this workroom floor. That's what's going to happen. I promise you that. It's happening. So get on from8arbitration.com. Scroll down to contact us. Get on the Dogs of War email and contact me. I will respond to let you know that I've got it, okay? Now, we've still got a long way to go, right? So the individual I've tasked with taking over this is going to do the logistics of it, the teams, making the teams, setting the teams out, everything. They're already in it. They're already getting their training ready. When I say shit's going to start on day one, that's what I mean. We're attacking the workroom floor day one. We're attacking the toxic working environment day one. That's going to happen, okay? Then we're going to start talking about non-compliance, how we're going to address that. We're not going to do this chicken shit language that Barner has sold us out on. Let me show you something. I'm going to read something to you somebody sent me. And this was a meeting with Barner. And he had several people in this meeting. And this guy was in a meeting with Barner. And Barner's trying to explain away all this dumbass shit that he's done, like amending these arbitrators' decisions. And this is how incompetent and stupid this guy is. He said that, was talking about the language, cease and desist and all this other shit. He said since management is refusing to sign pre-arbitration settlements with the words precedent setting in them, that we should use different words because the words precedent setting makes management cringe. So we should use different words, sounds like the shall comply from step B. Now he wants us as advocates to use that. I'm going to read that again. Now here's your executive vice president who's gone out with Lloyd about these cease and desist, quit using cease and desist, right? That's hurting management. And it's hurting us as far as eating pie. And we want these pies, right? And so if you want more pie, quit using cease and desist because it's hurting the implementation or the slicing of the pie. That's how stupid this fucker is. And then he has the nerve to kick an arbitrator off the panel because management didn't like a decision out of Memphis. So Barner calls in conjunction with labor and kicks this arbitrator off the panel. Then he calls with labor and has an arbitrator amend a decision because management didn't like it. Now he's saying that management is refusing to sign pre-arbitration settlements with the word precedent setting in them, that we should use different words because the words precedent setting makes management cringe. Who gives two fucks what management thinks? Who gives a fuck what management thinks? Who controls the fucking grievance? We do. Management doesn't control the fucking grievance process. The reason everything is so fucked up right now is because you got the dumbest motherfucker I've ever seen as president of this union. Smart kid, a dumb fucker. And he replaces Henry, who's telling people, I'm not doing that shit. So they email Renfro and say, hey, this dude's not playing with us. He's not kissing our ass like they're supposed to. So Renfro removes Henry and puts dumb fuck Barner in there, who starts immediately conceding shit, cease and desist, removing arbitrators, talking about citable language on pre-arbitration settlements. You want to know why everything's fucked up? Is because you got the two dumbest fuckers I've ever seen in running this union right now. Running us into the fucking ground and make stupid ass excuses. Well, management, it makes them cringe. Could you imagine The executive vice president of this fucking union saying it makes management cringe? Who in the fuck cares what management thinks about us? We run the grievance process, you dumb shit. It's ours. We move the grievance through the steps. If they say, that's making me cringe, well, cringe it on up to arbitration, you stupid fucker, and don't say the word cringe again, because that's cringe. That's how dumb we are as a union right now. I wouldn't give you a fucking nickel for most of them up there. I wouldn't. And if I'm James Henry, I'm getting young blood. I'm getting young blood in those positions. In every fucking position, I'm getting young blood. Kick the rest of these motherfuckers out of there. Some are going to retire. Anybody that's left on that ticket with Renfro, kick those motherfuckers out. If I'm James Henry, I'm getting young blood in this thing. That's exactly what I'm doing. Fuck all of them. This has been a fucking debacle since Renfro's been in office. A fucking debacle. Look at what we have become. I'm a World War II buff. I love World War II stuff. I don't know why it fascinates me. It fascinates me. I have always been, since I was a kid, had books, watched movies. I've read since I was young. Like I said, I barely graduated high school because it was boring to me. But I've always read. Loved World War II. Loved it. Vietnam War. Read on that. Everything about it. But in World War II, you had probably the greatest group of generals in history. Right? General Patton. And if you've not watched that movie with George C. Scott, you need to watch it. It's a fantastic movie. Dude was out there. General Patton was in his late 50s in World War II. This is just some of the famous generals, okay? General Sherman was in his late 70s in World War II. General MacArthur, everybody knows General MacArthur. He was in his late 50s in World War II. General Nimitz was in his late 50s. And General Bradley, at the end of World War II, is 55. And so those are the generals. Those are the ones who have spent their time as grunts on the battlefield, worked their way up to where they were generals, and then in World War II, they showed out. They showed out in winning the greatest war ever, you know. And so they're in their late 50s. Here we have James Henry, who has done the same thing. He has come up through the ranks on the workroom floor. Then he got into one of the very first individuals on the DRT. Worked in the business agent's office, was probably the greatest advocate that the NELC has ever had, with the most cases and the most wins, the biggest winning percentage. Everything he has done has led him here to be the general of the NELC. Everything he has done has led him here. And so what I would do is I would get those young bucks that are up and coming, that you can be the general of, and say, this is what we need to do. Kind of when he sat me down when we talked and he said, here's what we're going to do with the workroom floor. The biggest issues we have, what? Toxic working environment. You're going to handle that. You're going to handle it. And that's what I'm going to do. With the non-compliance, that's what I'm going to do. Because what's happened is you got a general now in dumb fuck Renfro who's never been in a battle, who's never done a fucking thing. He was a shop steward at a small station, a state president of a state that has hardly any members, was a shitty-ass Formula A, sucked ass to get Lou to take him up to national, stabbed Lou in the back, sucked ass on Rolando for Rolando to put him in here, and has never been in a battle, has never been in a fight. And so now he's delegating people based off of his fucking ignorance. Anybody that challenges management, they're removed from their position or they're demoted, like James Henry, like Chris Jackson. And you're going to put somebody in there who's a lapdog, Barner. And that's what's happening to us right now. Those two incompetent dipshits are ruining our union. Ruining it. And the problem here is that you have people under him that are allowing that to happen. They're allowing it to, they see it happening, they will tell you it's happening, and they allow it to happen. The issue I have with NELC, besides the two incompetent dipshits at the top, is the integrity issue at the NELC. You will have people look you in the fucking face and lie straight to it. Your president is number one. He will lie to the members straight to their fucking face and will continue to do so. You know why? Nobody holds his ass in check. Nobody holds his ass in check. Now you got James Henry, who they brought in 2 years ago to help this dumb fucker. And what does he do? Immediately stabs him in the back, makes up lies on him, brings it out in the Weir report, and the delegates say, oh, so be it. So be it. You try to ruin a man's career and his life. Oh, well. Oh, well. And so he came in. He didn't ask for the fucking job to be vice president. They brought him in. They asked him to come in. And then stab him in the back like he stabbed Lou in the back. Right? Because it's all about that fucking title. It's all about that fucking position. And that's the issue you're having right now, is the integrity issue at the NELC. Too many motherfuckers are going to look you in the face, say they're going to do something, and don't fucking do it. Why? Because they have no integrity. None. Anybody that will tell you, hey, I'm going to do this, and then immediately turn around and not do it to your face, no integrity. I have nothing for you at all. Anybody that's a fucking liar, have nothing for you. And we've got too many motherfuckers up there that will lie to your fucking face. When I say that James Henry right now is the candidate we need the most, the reason why is because of his integrity. That's why. It's his integrity. The thing that the union needs to do most now is to have integrity, because the carriers have lost faith in their union. They have lost faith in their union, and that is a tragedy. That is a tragedy. To have a carrier craft lose complete faith in their union. Why? Because you have a dishonest son of a bitch at the top who continues to be dishonest, who refuses to tell the truth, who is surrounded by motherfuckers just as dishonest as him. I could go on and on about that shit, but anybody who will fucking lie to your face is a piece of shit. A piece of fucking shit. We deserve better. If anybody feels comfortable enough to lie to you, that tells you how much they respect you. That tells you how little they respect you. Your president has lied to y'all over and over and over and over again. You know why? Because he has no respect for the city letter carrier. You know why? Because he was not one long enough to gain any kind of respect for us, for the craft. He's not been through anything. Motherfucker ain't been in any battles. Was given the fucking position because he can speak well. Man, that's worked out well for us, hasn't it? What a dumb fucker he is. I'm going to get off of that. But anyway, you see these generals in World War II. They've been through it. And then they've worked their way up the ranks based off of their accomplishments. That's James Henry. He's been through it on the workroom floor. Has worked his way up the honest way. Not like Renfro, kissing ass. He's worked his way up the honest way. Was one of the very first DRT members. Knows more about the DRT than anybody else. Arbitration advocate. Has the best winning percentage of anybody in the history of the NALC. Teaches Formal A classes. Advanced Formal A. Knows the importance of training. And you got Renfro. You got Renfro. The most dishonest motherfucker I've ever seen. Anybody who's that dishonest should never be in a position of power. Anybody. Y'all hear me? Anybody. Anybody that will lie to you should never be in a position of power. And we've got a lot of motherfuckers out there that lie. We got a lot of motherfuckers out there that will lie. So anyway, I got off on a little bit of something there, but DOW, get on there and and email me. Okay, I'm just going to do it this one last week. This week's the last time I'm going to mention it because we had so many people sign up last week, which was extremely encouraging. Extremely encouraging, man. It was awesome. It was fantastic to see the numbers pouring in there. People that were interested in it. A lot of experience on some, very little on the other. I don't care. I don't care. I need fighters. I need fucking warriors. I need people that are ready to make history for the NELC, and that's exactly what you're going to do. They will look back on this 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and say, that is where it changed. That is where it turned. And it will be because of y'all, not me. Y'all are going to be ones going on the workroom floor. I've got somebody over it that's a fucking killer. It is a fucking killer. And they will come out later. But email me. I will respond to you, okay? I promise you that. It won't be much. I'm just going to let you know that I got it, okay? And then as it gets closer, we're going to tell you what we're going to do, okay? The training we're going to give, what kind of groups we're going to have come up, all right? But in the meantime, get on there and look at those episodes. Get the relevancy letter thing down pat, because those grievances are immediately going to be filed when you get those relevancy letters, because you're going to be there maybe a week, you know. You may go and like we did in Louisiana, they had major issues with going there. They didn't have a grievance, not a joint statement grievance. They had a lot of complaints, but not a joint statement grievance, okay? That may happen to you. Your trip may be short-lived, but you'll plan on going some places for a week, okay? And that's the commitment level that you're going to have, you know? So if kids are in ball games and stuff like that, and we say, hey, we need you to go somewhere, you know, if you're telling us you can't, just understand there's a commitment level, and I'm going to expect you to do your job, okay? I'm going to expect you to handle business. Why? Because my brothers and sisters are suffering today. My brothers and sisters are hating to go to work tomorrow. They're not sleeping well tonight, and their stress levels are out the fucking roof because we have managers in there that are taking things like metrics that we didn't address, and they're bullying the fuck out of us. They're taking things like these dumb fucking memos that your stupid ass president signed into effect, and are bullying the shit out of us and causing a hostile working environment for us. And it's going to be dealt with, okay? And y'all are going to do it. And so, yeah, just make sure you have that commitment level, okay? Let's talk about something else. The day of action. Now, that pissed a lot of people off, and that's okay, last week. But I told you, and I will never change. I will never change who I am. My beliefs, what I feel, I just won't change. And that pisses some people off. Some people appreciate it. I get it. But it pisses people off that I don't stress and I don't worry. I don't know why. It pisses people off, but it does. I don't think anything's going to happen to us, and that pisses people off. I don't think we will ever be privatized, and that pisses people off. I don't think they're going to come in and do away with the Postal Service and break us off into separate pieces and do this and that. I just don't. People talk about what's going on in the federal government. We are immune to that. Immune to that. When they have a shutdown, when they talk about the federal government's going to shut down, do you know who's not shut down? Us. Why? We receive no tax money. That's a completely separate entity, right? That federal government and us are completely separate. I don't go based off of emotion. I just don't do it. I take a peek at things. I look at things, history of things. I'm not concerned one bit. And that pisses people off. But that is just who I am. Okay? The day of action. We called for it. The CLC and from arbitration. We called for it. Not because I was stressed or worried, but because somebody mentioned the Postal Service. And that was insurance, right? Sometimes you just got to buy insurance. I look at it like this. You move into a new house, right? You move into a new house and the guy's showing you around and he's like, down here, you know, you got this nice backyard. You got this creek right here that runs through here. Now you are on a floodplain. It's not flooded in 250 years, okay? But just letting you know, there's a creek here. You're on a floodplain. And so, but like I said, it hadn't flooded in 250 years. So do what you want to do there. And you say, well, you know, should I get insurance? Well, yeah, you can get insurance. Well, how much is it? Oh, it's free. It's free. It's free. Yeah, it's free. It's just a phone call. So you're telling me I can get flood insurance for free? Yeah. Yeah, you just got to call this number right here, and you'll get flood insurance for free. And so you call, and you get insurance. Why? Not because you're worried about it, but it's free. Why wouldn't you? That's what the day of action was. It's insurance, and it was free. It was a phone call. We wanted people to know, hey, we're here. What we do, okay? We're paying attention. Post office was mentioned by the president. Don't know his intentions. Could be harmless. Could be not. Don't know. We're making a phone call because that's insurance. But there are some who didn't agree with it. They thought that we were overreacting. And that's fine. If that's your opinion, that's fine with me. Hey, I don't judge. If you don't believe it was necessary, don't call. It's like you coming out of your front yard and saying, hey, how y'all doing, neighbors? Doing well. Got my insurance. Insurance for what? Well, that creek back there, just in case. Hey, Tom, did you hear this dumbass said he got insurance? You got insurance? Yeah. Why? Fuck, that creek's never flooded. Oh, just in case. Well, that's stupid as hell. That's how some people were reacting. And it was free. But I'm always going to take the insurance. I just am. A lot of people challenging me politically. You're not going to put me in a box. Politically, you're just not going to do it. Here's why. My whole life has led me to here. To this very point. My whole life. I was born July 19th, 1969. That's when I was born. And I was born white. All my life I've been white. I have never been anything other than a white guy. For 55 years I've been white, right? I was born in a neighborhood that's kind of a new neighborhood. We didn't have hardly anything. we were not on the other side of it, right? Matter of fact, sometimes we struggled big time. Have you ever had a butter sandwich where you put butter on one side and just fold it over and eat that as a sandwich? We've done that before. Man, it was hard times. It was hard times. I remember kids, this is the honest God's truth. I remember kids in school talking about making fun of other kids, just joking, oh man, you got BB buddies. He's wearing BB buddies, and they weren't wearing BB buddies, but that was just the cut down. That was the slang. I never will forget going home and looking at my shoes, and they were BB buddies. I was like, fuck, I've got BB buddies. Do y'all remember those shoes? I mean, that was the ultimate cut down. Oh, man, you wear BB buddies. I was like, fuck, I actually do wear BB buddies. We were poor, man. We didn't have hardly shit. But went to the boys club. Taught me a lot. It was kind of new surroundings for me and my brother, the boys club. That's where I was introduced to Van Halen, Led Zeppelin. I was probably 10 or 11 when we'd go. My parents would go to work and would take us there, and we would stay there all day. So introduced to Boston, Led Zeppelin, Van Halen, the Manhattans, Teddy Pendergrass, the OJs. That's how I was introduced to all of those things, right? Then you get into school. And my mother raised me to where family was first. Family came first. And you fought like hell for family. That's where I got it, where my brother, if he was ever anything, we were scrapping, right? So family came first. It was extremely important, and it still is to her today. She's 86. My father, a Marine, who taught me toughness, never back down. I remember, I may have told this story before. We had a huge bully in my class. It was 5th grade. His name was Troy Drake, and he was a big kid, a big boy, and he was the ultimate bully. And I mean the ultimate bully, a piece of shit. And he would steal everything you had. I remember they would sell at the bookstore these pencils, and they were pro football teams. So you could go, and for a quarter you could get 5. And so you would get whatever teams they had. I remember I had Detroit Lions, Pittsburgh Steelers, Dallas Cowboys. I remember those things. And he would just come take them. If you had them on your desk, he'd just snatch them up, take them, man. You're like, oh, give them back. He was a huge bully. Just take your shit at lunch. I mean, that's how he was. And so one day, I was at home. I was sulking around, man, because dude took all my pencils. My dad was talking to me, and I told him that there was a bully. And my dad told me, he's like, look here, son, you've got to address those. You've got to address those, or that will always be your life. Always be your life, is being run over by bullies. He said, you got to address it. And so he's like, what I want you to do next time it happens, he said, I want you to hit this kid in the nose as hard as you can. I was like, I'm not doing that. I will get crushed. And he's like, I'm telling you. He said, do not come home again. And this kid had done something to you and you didn't do that. He said, I want you to hit him in his nose as hard as you can. He held up his hand. He said, hit my hand. And it took me about 8 or 9 times until I got the velocity right. He's like, that right there. About the first 5 or 6, you're like, no. He said, hit my hand. I remember it was about 7 or 8 times, and I had just the right velocity on that thing to where, he's like, that right there. It was the very next day. The very next day, I was sitting at my desk. The teacher was out, and here comes Troy Drake. Gives me the forearm shiver right in the head for nothing other than me just sitting in my desk. I wasn't even looking at him. Just pow, right in the head with a forearm. And so I jumped up, and I said, you're not going to ever do that again. I remember that. You're never going to do that again. He said, what? And I said, I'm telling you. I said, you're never going to do that again. And what are you going to do? And about the time he got due out of his mouth, I hit him square in the nose as hard as I could. And he fell back against the chalkboard. I remember him falling his big ass against the chalkboard and sat there looking, holding his nose. I said, I told you, never again. And that was never again. It never happened again. And from then on, I addressed bullies like that. Right? Because if you let somebody be a bully, managers, supervisors, without addressing it immediately, they're going to continue to be bullies. They're going to continue to create a hostile working environment. And so I learned that early, right? And so in school, it was the same way I was with my friends. Anybody picked a fight with my friends, picked a fight with me. Was married, had 3 amazing kids, taught me a lot. Went to the jail. And it was the same thing up there. You messed with any of the guards, you messed with me. We were family, right? Post office, it's light blue. You mess with anybody in light blue, you mess with me. Those are things that were instilled in me as a young kid. My parents instilling those things in me. Family first, always. Prison guards, jail guards, that was my family. My friends, that was my family. My brother, obviously my family. Light blue, that's my family. You're going to protect them with everything you have in you. Why? Because that's what I was taught. And they're all my family, right? All of light blue. Got divorced, taught me a lot about myself. Recently remarried to Tracy. My very first girlfriend back in 1984, we reconnected and married. And so life has taught me a lot and has brought me here to where I am today. And so when people tell me that I should feel a certain way or comment a certain way about part of my family, I take exception to that. I take offense to that. And that's what was kind of happening. They're like, well, you won't say this about President Trump. So I will never, ever segregate part of my family. I will never do it. I wish my union would quit doing it because we are all in this same family, light blue. All of us. Did you know that not everybody in this union is white like me? Did you know that? I've been white my whole life, like I said, but not everybody is white. We have every nationality and race in this union. Do you think that I should base opinions off of my race? You come to the wrong motherfucker if that's what you think. We have single people. Right? And married people. We got straight people. We've got bisexual. We've got the LGBTQ community. A lot of those in this union. Do you think that I should separate those and comment about those individuals? Is that what you think? When you tell me that I should comment about somebody's political preference, that's how I feel. Why? Because they have the right to vote for however they see fit. for whoever they see fit. They have that right. And they are in my family nonetheless. They're in my family. Everybody in light blue is my family. I will never, ever talk about one over the other. It's just not who I am. It's not how I was raised. So anybody coming at me about anything political can fuck all the way off. That's how I am. Because when you say you love the city letter carrier, light blue, what does that mean to you? When you say you love us, when I say I love light blue, the city letter carrier, that's my passion, that's my love, I'm talking about every single fucking one. Every one of them. Regardless if they vote like I do, look like I do, are married like I am. Regardless of that, they're in my family. So that will never, ever happen from me. If that turns you off, don't care. I just don't give a fuck. Everybody has the right to be in this union and in this family. Okay? Democrats, Republicans, Independents alike. They all have a say in this family. I will never pit one against the other or talk about one against the other. I won't choose one against the other. I'm the wrong one. I'm the wrong fucking one. Because my life has led me here. Everything I've ever done has led me here. I learned at the jail to base things off of color, right? I've learned at the jail to base things off of color. When I was at the jail, it was blue against orange, and those are the only colors that mattered. We wore blue at the time, and then we changed over to green and tan. But we wore blue, and so I learned early that it was blue against orange. It wasn't white and black. It was blue against orange. I learned here to judge people based off of color, light blue. Anything other than light blue, I don't give a fuck about. Don't give a fuck about them. Anything other than light blue, okay? Understand that when you come at me. Everybody in light blue is my family, okay? I do not believe my union should endorse anybody. Why? Because you have people in this union who don't always think like you do. Thank God. Thank God. We don't all look the same. We don't all think the same. We don't all vote the same. But I live each and every one of them with everything in me, with all my heart. I love each and every one. Okay? And so I wanted to talk about that because that kind of came up a little bit on Reddit, people coming at me about putting me in a box politically. You'll never do that. You can kiss all this ass on that, all right? And that's how I feel. So that's how I feel about kind of where I'm at. I think that the most important thing right now is correcting our union, getting our union corrected. It's coming. It's coming. And I hate to keep saying it's coming, but that's all I can say because there's nothing we can do until 2026 when we can vote these dumb fucks out. But you had an opportunity at the last convention in Boston, but you had the delegates. They voted to keep Renfro in there, which has turned out to be a catastrophic disaster. Catastrophic. And, the issue that I have, and y'all know my issues. I talk about them all the time, is that I have somebody as a president who is intentionally hurting the city letter carrier with the things that they do and is deceitful, dishonest. I don't know whether Rolando had any idea that Renfro would be this bad. Surely not. Surely not. I think that we were deceived. I've talked about that before, that, we were not told about the history of this individual, a homewrecker, womanizing wino that was a complete fucking disaster that was hidden from us. And now, look where we're at. And so, and those things are still playing out. But, yeah, we were deceived. And now you have a president who has put things into place that have hurt us. And you have people that are still protecting him. I heard that Barner at one time was thinking about running for president. Look, here's the best thing that y'all can do. Renfro and Barner, here's the best thing that y'all can do for the city letter carriers. If you want to help us out, here's the best thing y'all can do. Stay the fuck out of shit. Go sit down until y'all get voted out. Just quit doing shit. Just stop. Okay? That's the best thing y'all can do. Stop doing things. Leave us alone. We're fine. Y'all are fucking shit up faster than we can correct it down here on the workroom floor. The shop stewards had to work more because of the incompetence of Brian Renfro that at any time in the history of this union with the things that he's implemented, such as these memos. The amount of work shop stewards have now based off of his dumbass is unbelievable. You have business agents having to write templates about 22-minute load times, about office time, stationary events, based off of things that this dumb fuck has put into action, right? You look at the things that he's done, and I've talked about this. I know y'all probably getting tired of it, but just the memos, the HIP falsification. And here's his mindset. They're trying to protect management. You cannot tell me anything different. The evidence is overwhelming. You have Barner with Lloyd. You have these cease and desist. You have him kicking arbitrators off the panel because management told him to do so. You have them amending decisions because management told him to do so. You have him coming to us trying to feed us a line of shit about, well, management will cringe. Fuck management. We run the grievance process. They do not. It's ours. We file a grievance. Management does not. I don't give a fuck if they like it or not. We don't say that they fucking cringe on shit. Who fucking cares about those motherfuckers over there? That's the mindset we've got to get back to in this union. Fuck labor. Fuck management. It's our grievance. A motherfucker don't like what's written on it. Send the motherfucker up. It's that fucking simple. You got this dumb fuck sitting there talking about they cringe. What? Who in the fuck cares about management cringing? That's where we are with him. And he's talking about running for president? I think he's backed out of that now. But could you imagine this motherfucker's president? He's probably the only one worse than Renfro. Would be him. He is a complete fucking sellout. A complete fucking sellout. To me. That's my opinion. I think he's a cowardly motherfucker and is a sellout. That's what I think. I've never seen a more cowardly motherfucker than him. The shit that he goes around to these DRT teams and talks about with Lloyd about the cease and desist. Brother, that's our problem now. Is y'all have done this shit to us about non-compliance. I'm fixing that shit day one. It's fixed. Now, the non-compliance is going to take a while because this motherfucker's done so much damage. It'll be fixed, though. You know why? Because James Henry told me to fix it. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do so much damage as director of city delivery. That's the perfect spot for me. Okay? It's the perfect spot for me as director of city delivery. I can do more damage there than any other position. Right? I can be the hellraiser. And that's what I'm going to be. I can be the motherfucker, and that's what I'm going to be. When I say the boogeyman is back, that's what I'm talking about. I've already got the toxic working environment addressed. We've already got enough people, and then we're going to put that out today, get some more in there, where I can cause damage. We're going to address non-compliance. I'm going to cause damage. Anything else James Henry tells me to do, I'm fucking ravaging shit because I know how. Because I've done it. But we need Brian Renfro and Barnett to stay out of shit until we can vote them out. Just stay out of fucking shit until we vote them out. But back to bitch ass Renfro. You got the HIP falsification. And here's how you know he's a fucking sellout to management. He sold us the fuck out. Take the TA out of it. No, don't take. I'll put that in there. I'll talk about that in a second. But he's a fucking sellout, right? Now he wants to talk about fight like hell. That's his new motto, his new mantra is fight like hell. Where in the fuck were you 600 days ago with that stupid bullshit? Where were you 600 days ago with this fight like hell shit? That's when you should have been fighting like hell. Now all of a sudden that TA sending us that. We deserve more than that. Motherfucker, you did it. You were the one who gave it to us. You act like somebody else did it. You acting like somebody else brought that to us. That's how fucking stupid this motherfucker is and dishonest he is. We deserve better. God. We deserve better. The carriers deserve better. Bitch, you did it. It's yours. You brought it to us. And now you act like somebody else did it. God. We are so fucked with this dumbass. But then talking about HIP. Falsified it throughout the country, right? And I'm saying, hey, look here. Ask for all this money. We need to force this to arbitration. Why? Because I want arbitrators to acknowledge the falsification of it. I want that on record. I want it on record that they falsified it. That's important. What does he state? To newspapers, there were some discrepancies. That's a fucking sellout. That's a fucking sellout. You didn't say there's widespread falsification on this HIP training. That's what a president would said. You got Demetra Lewis down there in Texas when our brother Mr. Gates passed away. What'd she say to the news media? They intentionally falsified his training. They falsified everybody's training. And what did I say? There's your president right there. There's your somebody's a president who came out and said, these motherfuckers falsified it. My brother Mr. Gates is dead. They falsified his training. There's your president, Demetra Lewis. Then you've got our brother Mr. Gates. And who was the bad guy in that? It wasn't management. It wasn't management for sending out those scanner messages, keep it moving, beat the heat. It wasn't management during that period of time had falsified our training and was sending out these deadly-ass scanner messages. We're having episodes on how to defeat unsafe scanner messages. It wasn't any of that. Do you know who the bad guy was? It was us. Your president said what when people are asking about it? They're just wanting a pound of flesh. That's your president. He couldn't say that they falsified. It's just discrepancies. Just discrepancies. What about these carriers that are in an uproar because their brother is lying dead in somebody's yard? I'm not talking about passed out. My brother is dead in a yard. And what does your dumbass, cowardly motherfucking president say about that? They're just wanting a pound of flesh. You know what I say? You know what I say? You've got to love the city letter carrier if you're going to be successful. You got to love us. He is incapable of loving us because he loves himself too damn much. My brother is dead, and he wants to attack us for being pissed. They just want that pound of flesh. That's all. What about your stationary events that were derived off of these memos? We've never been in an attack like that. You know, first off, you never signed anything into effect that allows anybody to watch me, monitor me with a scanner. You never fucking do that. If you spent any time on this fucking floor, you knew better. I don't give a fuck. It's for an alternate route adjustment process. I don't give a shit. You don't sign shit allowing management to use a scanner to monitor us. Now look at where we are. Because of your incompetence. People writing letters saying, hey man, they are attacking the shit out of us on the workroom floor. They are creating a hostile working environment based off of these scanners, these stationary events. Motherfucker didn't come out and say, where at? I'm sending somebody in there to address it. What did he say? You're inconvenienced. You're inconvenienced. He's a fucking sellout. And you still got motherfuckers supporting that son of a bitch. You still got motherfuckers on social media supporting that son of a bitch. You still got branch presidents supporting that cowardly motherfucker. You still got motherfuckers at executive councils and resident officers kissing that sorry motherfucker's ass. Every one of them will be fired. their ass is going back to carrying mail or into management. That's a promise. The CLC is fixing to run fucking roughshod on the NELC. And we are going to turn that back over to the city letter carrier. Why? Because we are run based off of love for the city letter carrier. That's why we're here. That's why we were born. The CLC is to get rid of this mentality. So you're going to have the CLC coming in. We're going to be getting rid of the cowardly mentality of the NELC and changing the environment of the city letter carrier on the workroom floor. That's what's going to happen. If that doesn't happen, I will quit. I will quit. If that doesn't happen, I will go back to carrying mail. Right? If anybody tries to stand in my way from doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm going back to carrying mail. They tried to do that to James Henry. You know what he said? I'm taking your fucking job. I'm not being able to do what I need to do to protect the city letter carrier. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take your fucking job. You look at these metrics that came out, hour office time, stationary events. Those are things that management came out on paper and addressed. And what did your president do about that? Did you hear about him? He's on these podcasts. Did you hear him say anything about that? You had that letter from Lloyd telling him they were going to do a blitz on us. Did you have him come on a podcast and say anything about that? He is incapable of being a leader. He's a dictator. You can look at James Henry and Chris Jackson and see that. He removed their duties. One brought charges up against him because he's a fucking incompetent fool. And the other was telling labor to fuck themselves over these B teams and stuff like that. So he replaces him with Barner, who's a complete straight up bitch ass coward. This TA. The TA was the ultimate sellout of the city letter carrier. Everything Renfro has done in his career since he's become president has been a sellout to management. He has sold out the city letter carriers. Those things that I just talked about, those are sellouts. You're selling us out to management, right? You're conceding us. You're conceding the city letter carrier to management. You're fucking us over. So we have two dumb fucks. You look at these, when they're talking about these 16-7s, right? You got three dumb motherfuckers up there at headquarters putting together this template to come after us on the street, put us all off the clock for things that are not emergencies, right? You have no word from Renfro. Even though he knew they were coming out on the street blitzing us, he didn't say a fucking thing. So you got Lloyd coming out with this letter, we're going to go blitz y'all. You got these dumb fuckers meeting with our dumb fuckers, and during the middle of all their fuckeration, the only one getting fucked is us, the city letter carrier. All these dumb fuckers up there, but the only one getting fucked is us. They're eating dinner together at the Ritz-Carlton, throwing scraps out the fucking door onto the street, telling the city letter carrier that's the best I can fucking do. Now you got this motherfucker coming out with surveys, right, that most of us didn't even get, saying that we're going to take certain things to arbitration and certain things we're not because of the surveys. Last time I checked, you dipshit, we did not ratify a contract on surveys. But here we are. He's bent. This motherfucker's ass is bent because his first TA, his baby, got voted down. Didn't just get voted down, it got knocked the fuck out like Tyson hit it. That's what happened. That's what happened. His problem is he got here on hot air. He got here on hot air. Lou Drass bought it. Fred Rolando bought it. Put the motherfucker in a position he was nowhere near ready for. And never will. He will never be ready for this position because he refuses to love the city letter carrier. He's incapable of it. And the motherfucker's a narcissist. He's never wrong. He sees no wrong. In anything he's done, he sees no wrong. The detriment he has put us in is biblical. Is biblical. That's where we need to focus our concern on. We can have days of action, right? Just like we had. That's insurance. Let's get us a little insurance for free for a phone call. We can have rallies, okay, just for the public. A lot of people reached out about the commercial idea saying, hey, we can get billboards. The carriers can do it ourselves if NALC won't do it, because the public needs to know who we are and understand that we receive no tax money. Man, we're going to come to your house every day. You're worried about your parents that are elderly. We're going to go talk to them, man. We may be the only people that they see every day, and we're going to take care of them. The pets, blah, 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 all of, those things should be put out in the public. But we're too fucking stupid and incompetent at the top to understand how to fight. The motherfucker says fight like hell. His little bitch ass up there with that little spaghetti arm shaking that fist looks stupid as fuck, talking about fight like hell. Has never fought a fucking day in his life. Get out of the fucking way and let us handle this. We can fight for ourselves. You're a detriment to us. You're impeding us because of your stupidity, your incompetence, and your unwillingness to fight for the city letter carrier. You don't know how. You don't know how. You're a conceder. That's all your tenure has been, is conceding. Every fucking thing. You don't want to speak up against management. Could you imagine Fain or O'Brien or any of them not speaking up against management? I can't. They light them motherfuckers up all the time. What about the guy that was on the dock workers? Did y'all see him? Did y'all see what he did? He said, I'll shut the country down if y'all don't take care of my people. I will shut this fucking country down if y'all don't take care of my people. And what does Renfro do? Gives us the worst fucking TA in history. Why? Because the Postal Service sold his bitch ass out on we're broke. That's our president. Bought that shit. Rookie, our advocates know better than that. Hell, y'all heard at closing when I got in there, I said, you can't take our financial situation in consideration, Arbitrator Roberts. Rookies know that shit. This mother went in there for 600 days and came out and said, hell, they're broken there, man. How'd it go? Fuck, they're broke. I don't know what to do. They're broke. Dude, I just came out of there for 600 days. They're fucking broke. I don't know what to tell the carriers. Well, hell, you told them 9%. I can't do that. You got to. You told them that. Fuck that, man. These motherfuckers are broken there. That's this motherfucker. It's our president. Holy fuck balls. And then these work concessions. What are you thinking? That's all you've ever done is conceded shit on the workroom floor. Quit. Stay out of the fucking way, man. Go sit in your chair. We'll pay you for a year if you just quit. We'll pay you the rest of your year's salary. Just sit in your chair. Don't get up. Don't make phone calls at 2 a.m. Sit in your fucking chair and don't do shit. And have Barner move his office in there with yours. Both y'all just sit there and look at each other for the next year. And quit fucking shit up. You're fucking us over. This dude. You know what I'm saying? And now look, the post office all of a sudden has all this money. Y'all see all the money we're making now? And he sold us out. He was wanting us to buy that shit of a TA. We could have bought that shit as TA. And now look at all the money they're making. Hell, you got somebody talking about pumping $40 billion into us. Whether it happens or not, it was said on national TV. I heard it. Pumping $40 billion into the Postal Service. And he's sitting there saying, God, they're broken there, man. Some fucker. Holy shit. God. Hey, look here, man. I'm going to do a little bit of training, but we're in trouble. We're in trouble now. We're in trouble now. Shit is changing in 26. I know. I get it. I get it. It's a long fucking way. But what we're going to do is we're going to educate ourselves as best we can for a year. Okay? Until we can take over. Because when we come in, we're going to hit the fucking ground running. Okay? I promise you that. You got James Henry, who's got more integrity in his pinky than just about anybody up there. than just about anybody up there. Right now, what we need most is integrity, his leadership skills. Right now, that's what we need most. Why? Because the carrier does not trust our union, and that is catastrophic. That is catastrophic. We have got to have somebody in place that will bring trust back to this union. Anybody who has lied has no business up there. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, man, let me tell you. Will lie straight to your fucking face. I ain't got nothing for them, man. But help is on the way. I promise you help is on the way. I know all I've done is rant right here. Well, I talked about the DOW. That's important. The dogs of war. Great response last week. Give me that same response, we'll shut it down. We'll shut it down, okay, until next year. I'll probably bring it out a little bit more next year. But great response on that, man. I'm telling you now, on my life, we're going to correct the toxic working environment on the workroom floor. I promise you that. I know how to do it. And we're going to do it on a national scale. The individual I've got that's going to do it is the baddest motherfucker I know to deal with that. There will not be any more people afraid to go to work. There will not be any more people that sits up late at night worrying about going into work. There will not be those that sit in their car waiting to go into work, stressed the fuck out because you got some manager or supervisor that has taken a directive from area about an hour office time and all this and are beating the shit out of us with it. I don't give a fuck if it's one carry in a station in Podunk. We're going in. If we know about it, and we'll talk about that later, okay? DOW, get on there. Get on there. You're going to make history. I'm telling you, I know. I know. It's coming. You're going to make history. And then we'll deal with the non-compliance. We'll address that, okay? And we're in a bad way right now. We are hurting right now as a carrier craft because our unit's too fucking incompetent. And they're untrustworthy. It's the good old boy system. You got winos, womanizers, and all that shit up there, and has turned that fucking thing into a brothel, hiring best friends and all that shit. People ain't got no fucking business up there. It's a fucking zoo. We've got to have somebody get in there and say, stop. Fucking stop. God, fire the fuck out of people. And get shit under control. That's James Henry. That's James Henry. All right, I'm going to go over this training. God, dog, an hour and 30 minutes of me just sitting here talking crazy. I've got this grievance starter that somebody put up, and this is a fucking embarrassment. It's about the 22-minute load time because of your incompetent, stupid-ass, fucking fool-ass president, okay? And here, look here, man. I know that people don't like me talking like that and don't like me cursing and don't like all that shit. I am genuinely, if you've ever been around me, I am genuinely a nice guy. I really am. People like being around me because I'm a nice guy. Unless you hurt my people. Unless you hurt my family. And if you hurt my family, I'm not a nice guy. I'm a low-down motherfucker. When you hurt my family, okay, it's all I've ever known. It's how my parents raised me. And these two fucking clowns have hurt my family and continue to hurt my family. And so therefore, I will go off on them motherfuckers until they're gone. And that's just the way it is. Why? Because that's how I was raised. That's how I was raised. But this here is the template for the 22-minute load time. Do you know why business agents are having to make these? Because you have an incompetent fool as a president who put times on memos. Here's the why you don't put times on memos, and I've said this a lot. If something has no standard, if it takes what it takes, it can never have an average. I don't care if it's for a joint route adjustment process, but you don't put times on memos. Why? Because maybe, just maybe, management will bastardize those nationwide and fuck us over. That's why. And so anything I ever do, any memo I ever sign, will not have times on it. Why? Because I'm not a dumbass fool. That's why. Even if it's for a joint process, which can't be used for anything, right? It will only be used for this joint process. You had to know better when you signed it that that's not what's going to happen. So we have business agents now that are having to do grievance starters on 22-minute load time. Why? Because we got a fool as president. That's why. So here we're going to read this template. It's going to be up on from8arbitration.com because Mallory's going to put it up there for me. And remember, get on there and tell Mallory thank you. It's kind of a tip jar to her. I want a lot of money in there for her because she does a lot for the city letter carrier. More than y'all know. More than y'all know. Okay? Get on there and help the little girl out. She's absolutely fantastic. Now, she didn't know this was happening and will probably be pissed. Will probably be pissed because she would not, I don't know. She may not appreciate it. Maybe she will. But she did not know this was happening. This was told to me on the sly. And so she's hearing about this today. So, but she's going to put this episode up. I know that. Anyway, issue statement, block 15 of PS Form 8191. Here's the issue statement. It's going to have it for you. And that's the reason I love most of these grievance starters. Some of them are suspect, but, you know, a grievance starter for a new shop steward is very important because most shop stewards don't know what to put in the issue. And the issue is critical because that's what we're going to take to arbitration and tell the arbitrator this is what they violated. So it's the most critical to make sure you got the issue statement right. This is a good one. Did management violate the M39 and M41 handbooks, pre-arbs, and memorandums of understanding via Article 19 of the National Agreement, or Article 3, 5, or 34 by instructing the grievant to load his or her truck in 22 minutes or less? If so, what shall the remedy be? Contract language. Now, it's got Article 3. I'm not going to read that to you, but it's got Article 3. It's got Article 5. It's got Article 19. And it's got Article 34, work and or time standards, okay? And I'll just read that one because a lot of y'all probably haven't read Article 34 before. Now, Article 19, it brings in handbooks and manuals. It incorporates handbooks and manuals. Article 5, obviously, is the prohibition against unilateral action. But Article 34, work and or time standards. A, the principle of a fair day's work for fair day's pay is recognized by all parties to this agreement. B, the employer agrees that any work measurement systems or time or work standards shall be fair, reasonable, and equitable. The employer agrees that the union concerned through qualified representatives will be kept informed during the making of time or work studies which are to be used as a basis for changing current or instituting new work measurement systems or work or time standards. Now, the reason that pisses me off is because you got a dumb shit up there trying to change our fixed office time. And to me, if management wanted to, and here I go again, but if management came to me and said, hey, we want a reduction in fixed office time, I'm going to say no. You will not sell me on that. Why? Because you've already sold me on certifieds and DPS, which took away from our office time. Now you're trying to take 13 minutes of my fixed office time, and he conceded that, right? And that's probably going to go forward because of his little bitch ass going to say those surveys, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, if management came to me about any reduction in anything, I'm going to say no. You need to take that to arbitration, right? And to whatever. You need to make that an interpretive issue or whatever you want to do. But I'm not changing shit. Why? Because you will use that against my carriers. That's why. We have templates out there about our office time that y'all have implemented that are hurting my carriers. They're bullying my carriers. And you're going to use this probably to hurt them even further. And so I don't believe anything you fucking say because y'all have shown time and time again that y'all are not truthful with me. Y'all steal from us. You lie on us. You change edit clock rings on us. You falsify things. And so y'all don't have a real good track record with me. So no, I'm not going to come into any agreement through a reduction of office time. Of course, this motherfucker brought it forward in a TA. Anyway, where was I? The employer agrees that the national president of the union may designate a qualified representative who may enter postal installation for purposes of observing the making of time or work studies which are to be used as the basis for changing current or instituting new work measurement systems or worker time standards. C, the employer agrees that before changing any current or instituting any new work measurement systems or worker time standards, it will notify the union concerned as far in advance as practicable. When the employer determines the need to implement any new nationally developed and nationally applicable work or time standards, it will first conduct a test of the standards in one or more installations. The employer will notify the union at least 15 days in advance of any such test. And so that's why Article 34 is important. Now, one of the problems here we have, not with this grievance, but we have a dumb fuck president, if I hadn't said that before, who on these memos put times for things that have no times, right? It takes what it takes. So he has a 22-minute load time. That takes what it takes. So there cannot be an average. It cannot be an average. But here we have a 22-minute average load time. How much abuse have we gotten off of that? Because of his incompetence. We have minutes for parcel delivery. Those take what it takes. And we're getting bludgeoned by that. Matter of fact, you had district managers sending out emails dealing with that. Now, the union's in agreement. It's 1 minute per parcel. And they beat the shit out of us with that, right? NDBCUs beat the shit out of us with that. So many things that they beat the shit out of us because if something takes what it takes, that's exactly what's going to go in that memo. It takes what it takes. Management has bitch slapped Renfro into saying we need averages. What Renfro should have said was we cannot have an average based off of something that it takes what it takes. And if you say anything else about watching us through the scanners, I will pull out of this process because you will not watch. I don't care if it is jointly. My carriers will never be tracked and monitored with scanners. So we need to come up with something other than that. But he was so worried about institutionalizing something or putting something into effect that would have his name on something such as a joint route adjustment process because his ego and his narcissism feeds him, it fuels him at every fucking step. So he wants his name on something that important that we revolutionized the joint route adjustment process. And we see now that it failed because he's too fucking incompetent to see what's going to happen. And management took advantage of him. Like I said, that Trojan horse, all they wanted was a name on a piece of paper, and they have run over us because of that. They did away with the route adjustment process. It's over with. It's dead. Now look, they're still doing this shit. Why? They just wanted his name on a piece of paper, and he was too much of a fool to see what was coming down the pike. So anytime management, this is for anybody that's any kind of union position, anytime management comes to you and said, hey, we want an average on these things. Well, that usually takes what it takes. Yeah, but we want an average on it. No, I'm not going to give you that because it takes what it takes. That could be used to harm my people. Well, let us watch y'all with the scanners then. No, you're not going to because Section 134 says you can't spy or use covert techniques, and I'm not going to do your work for you because what you want my union people to do with their counterpart is watch my carriers. That's not going to happen. That's never going to happen. We'll fight you for that. We're not going to do it. But just like the TA, he concedes every fucking thing because motherfucker's not a leader. He's not a president, right? He's a bitch. And so anyway, that's the 34. You got union facts and contentions. One, management at this post office instructed the grievant. She only had 22 minutes to load the vehicle. 2, M1983. This is why you're going to want these things, right? Because y'all may not have ever heard of any of these M documents, right? The following events within DSR are automatically flagged when the associated time exceeds the parameters listed below. Now, this is his memo, right? You had 1982, 1983, 1984. And here it is. The following events within DSR are automatically flagged when the associated time exceeds the parameters listed below. Now, why would you automatically flag anything if it takes what it takes? Why would you put that in a memo? Who's it automatically flag? Management? No, it automatically flags the carrier. I'm not putting anything in a memo where you say you automatically flag my carriers. It gives the impression that I'm doing something wrong. To me, it gives the impression that my carriers are out there fucking off. When you say the following events within DSR are automatically flagged when the associated time exceeds the parameters. listed below. Why would you say that? Do y'all see what I'm saying? Looking back now, when you first got it, you probably didn't think nothing about it. Looking back now, why would you say that we were going to be flagged for exceeding something where it takes what it takes? I don't get that. A, loading time, 22 minutes. B, the above listed parameters are not delivery standards and are used for the purpose of assisting the evaluation team in identifying potential anomalies. What does that mean? Does anybody know evaluating team to identify potential anomalies? That means that they can question us on what we're doing. Management has a responsibility to supervise us on the street. Loading my vehicle is a street function, right? And so they have a responsibility under 134 street management to go out there and watch us load. What this has done has alleviated them from their responsibilities to watch us load our vehicles, to do their jobs in accordance with 134 of the M39 handbook, which is their handbook. It alleviates them from doing their job. Why? Because you have a dumbass saying that both parties will flag something if it exceeds something, even though you don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Why? Because management bitch slapped him into this. That's why. M00736 outlines the agreement regarding credit for street functions. Based on the evidence presented in this agreement, we find that the entries allowed on the Form 1838 on line 21 in this instance are proper. The method for handling CMU mail and throwbacks needed not to be included on line 21 is a separate function when performed in conjunction with another activity such as loading time. The carrier will receive full credit for the time required to perform these combined activities. Although the activities are combined, the carriers receive full credit for the time required. 4. M1769 is a national level pre-arbitration which requires that the subject office efficiency tool is a management tool for estimating a carrier's daily workload. The office efficiency tool used in the Greater Indiana District or in any similar time projection system tools will not be used as a sole determinant for establishing office or street time projections. Accordingly, the resulting projections will not constitute the sole basis for corrective action. This agreement does not change the principle that pursuant to Section 242.332 of Handbook M39, no carrier shall be disciplined for failure to meet standards except in cases of unsatisfactory effort, which must be based on documented, unacceptable conduct that led to the carrier's failure to meet office standards. Furthermore, as stated in the agreement for this case, there is no set pace at which a carrier must walk and no street standard for walking. Projections are not the sole determinant of a carrier's leaving or return time or daily workload. The use of any management-created system or tool that calculates a workload projection does not change the letter carrier's reporting requirements outlined in Section 134.4 of the M41 Handbook. The supervisor's scheduling responsibilities outlined in Section 122 of Handbook M39 or the letter carriers and supervisor's responsibilities contained in Section 28 of Handbook M41. So what he's done is where it says there's no set pace for a carrier at which a carrier must walk or no street standard for walking. That talks about we have no street standard. Anything about us has a street standard. There's no street standard for delivery. There's no street standard for loading our vehicle. There's no street standard for anything that happens on the street like delivery of parcels. What he has done is he has set a standard. They call it parameters, but he has set a standard in these memos, right? Because he has put times on those. If there's no street standard, if we have no standard on the street, why would you open that door? They have always wanted that door open, and we have a president that opened it. Not an informal, not a formal, not a DRT, not an advocate. Our president of the union has given us times. There's no street standard, but he has put times on memos. Why? Because he's a dumbass. 5. The parties agree in Pre-Arb M1664 that the Delivery Operations Information System, DOIS, is a management tool for estimating a carrier's daily workload. The use of DOIS does not change the letter carrier's reporting requirements outlined in Section 134.4 of Handbook M41. The supervisor's scheduling responsibilities outlined in Section 122 of Handbook M39 or the letter carriers and supervisors' responsibilities contained in Section 28 of Handbook M41. DOAS projections are not the sole determinant of a carrier's leaving or return time or daily workload. As such, the projections cannot be used as the sole basis for corrective action. A 5-minute time credit for lines 8 through 13 will be added, or when route inspection data is available for lines 8 through 13, the actual average information will be used for daily workload projections. Management is responsible for accurately recording volume and other data in DOAS, and so that's the DOAS memo. 6. Article 3 affords management the right to manage, but they must do so within all the contract provisions. 7. Article 5 prohibits management from unilaterally changing a past practice. The practice in this case is that carriers receive actual time needed for loading and are not held to any set standard. 8. Article 19 incorporates all of the pre-arbs and Step 4 agreements memorialized over the years. 9. Agreements regarding carrier protections from street projections go as far back as 1979. And it has some good ones in there: M394, M1444, M1664, M1769, M1983. Summary. Management violated national level settlements M1983, M1664, and M1769 via Article 19 by instructing carriers to load their trucks in under 22 minutes. M1983 refers to 22 minutes as a parameter for the evaluation team and not a standard. 2. There is no street standard for loading vehicle, and actual time is provided during a 39.99. 3. Management is violating Article 3 and 5 by giving an improper instruction. 4. Management is violating Article 34 by not including the NELC if there is a new work study. 5. Loading is part of street time, and M39 Section 242.321 calls for average street times used to be considered when creating base street time. It allows for the consideration of all time used. Remedy: that management cease and desist instructing carriers to complete load of vehicle in a set amount of time. Then it has your request for information, and it's got that on there for you, so pull that up. And it's got a request for steward time. It's got those things on there, okay? So that's very good. Unfortunately, our business agents are having to make templates that address things that are in these memos, but they are coming back. My manager told me the other day that they had a new individual working under the district manager that's pushing the hour office time, these load times, and stationary events, that they're pushing these things. So these things are not going to go away. We should have addressed them nationally. We didn't because we're failures. And so we'll just keep educating and addressing them here on From 8 Arbitration, right? So there you have it. There's your episode. Almost 2 hours. And I don't know. Maybe I thought it would go that long because I knew that I was mad, that I was hot. But anyway, hopefully it wasn't too bad. Now, next week, I'll be gone to Biloxi for regional training. I'm going to have Mr. Noble on Saturday. Okay, so he's going to come on, give you some updates on his situation, okay? And we'll talk a little bit. He's been wanting to come on, so we'll get him on here. And like I said, he'll update you on his situation. And then I will talk to y'all the next Sunday. We'll get back into some 6-day count. I'm gonna keep reading an hour off of this book. And anything else that comes up. I may be pissed off again, I don't know. But we can't get the CLC in there fast enough. Can't get James Henry in there fast enough. We need that integrity now more than ever. We need transparency now more than ever. We have none. National is like a cult type thing. It's a secret society. People don't know anybody up there. Nothing comes out. Like I said, every Tuesday I'm going to have a national Zoom meeting. I'm going to tell you exactly what I've been doing all week, exactly who I've been talking to, exactly where I've been. Why? Because it's your union. It's your money. And so, yes, there should be transparency. I'll have different members of the executive council, of the resident officers on my Zoom, so they can tell you what they've been doing. Why? Because it's no fucking secret, right? It's y'all's money. This is y'all's union. Y'all should know everything we're doing. It's not some secret society, like I said, which is what it is now. And so, yeah, we're going to be doing that. I'm still going to be doing, like I said, From 8 Arbitration, because that's how I find out everything. Do y'all know that management at my station does none of these things I've been educating you on? None of them. Our office time, they don't do that at my station. Stationary events, they don't do that. These load times don't do that. Whiteboards don't do that. So everything that I'm talking to y'all about comes from y'all. That's the only way I know things. But I want y'all educated. Why? Because I actually love the city letter carrier. With everything in me, I love the city letter carrier, and I do not want y'all trampled on. Right? And so things come to me. I educate myself to educate y'all. Okay? On how to beat it. So, yeah, we're going to keep doing that. Why? Because that's how I know shit. That's how I find out things. I deliver mail 6 days a week. I'll be delivering mail tomorrow. And I'll deliver mail all the way up until I become director of city delivery. And that's just what's going to fucking happen, right? And we're going to start wrecking shit on day one. Shit will be wrecked. I promise you, man. I can't wait to fuck these motherfuckers up, man. I can't wait. I despise them. I despise them. And so I can't wait to get in there, man, and set some people loose on them and just sit back and watch the carnage. I can't wait. So I'll talk to y'all Saturday, Mr. Noble. Okay? Y'all have a fantastic rest of the week. I love y'all with all my heart. Even those that don't like me, I love you. Even those that hate me, I love you. Okay? If y'all talk about me all the time and trash me and shit, and y'all call me once I get in there and say, hey, man, I know I called you a bitch and all this stuff, but they're hurting us in our station. I'll be in there tomorrow. I'll be in there tomorrow. Why? Because you're my family. You're my family. May not think like me, may not like me, but you're my family, and I'm going to come out and kick somebody's ass for you. Okay? That's a promise. So I'll talk to y'all next week. I love you. Bye.